Live at 5, it's offer review, and this guy over here and his event is a little bit worse than last year's Zombie Iron Man event. We're also going to talk about why, even if you unlock him, and there's some uncertainty whether or not he's unlockable free to play, whether or not it's going to be good enough. So this has been a very hot topic, and just looking at the titles and the number of posts on Reddit, there's a high volume. Is the zombie juggernaut, the Zuggs event a joke? I didn't want zombie Juggs anyway. Zombie Juggs event mistake or terrible event? 40 viral frags per win. And if you want a complete analysis of why this event is not player friendly, or if you want to see if it's even possible for you to unlock that, there's a Boylan vid where he just goes through all the math and he comes to the conclusion that free to play, unlock, impossible. Zombie event, downright trash. I did watch the video and I was like, oof. I even forwarded this video to the developers for them to look at because he kind of breaks down why this is not really player friendly for him. And he's questioning whether or not he's going to be able to unlock Zombie Juggernaut. And then Steven Wrestling put a post on Reddit where, like, even if you unlock him, is he going to be meaningful at 2 stars? Which is another question. Boundless, the Zuggs unlock is not good enough. This is not a post about how bad the Zuggs event is. This post about why the Zuggs event being bad is a problem. The Zuggs event is slightly worse than Zombie Iron Man, except Node 3 is much, much worse. This means players will end up with a Zuggs similar to smaller than Zombie Iron Man. This is a huge problem. While Zombie Iron Man was usable and effective at low stars, yes, and I remember this, I'm going to come back to that. Zuggs needs higher stars. This means most players will have a Zugg so small that it'll be pointless to build Zuggs anytime during the year. Don't mind a character being more exclusive, but for most players to not have a usable version of that character for an entire year is not acceptable. So I remember there was a lot of outrage last year this time about the way that Zombie Iron Man. And for me, what made the situation a little bit better was that Zombie Iron Man was actually effective at low stars, low gear, low character level. He just worked kit-based, where Zombie Juggernaut does have some of that a little bit kit-based, and all characters in general benefit from hiring stats. So like Zombie Iron Man's better at stars, but in general, Zombie Iron Man's a kit-based character, and he will do stuff even when he was underdeveloped. Zombie Juggernaut needs to survive that initial barrage to kind of get some momentum and take a turn and get enough charges, because he won't revive unless he gets enough stacks of charges. And in my testing, I saw situations where he just got blown up too quickly or very early, or got one shot. Didn't be able to do that health trigger where he kicks the taunt over to somebody else, and he just needs more stars. And also, some of my testing suggested that his damage output was just insane based on the number of bleeds out there, and just like he just started blowing up the team. So he is more of a stat-based character than Zombie Iron Man. So this is a problem. Feedback has been put out to Scopely. Maybe this is what it is. Maybe the event is the way that they want it. Maybe Zombie Juggernaut is just meant to be an optional luxury war spender character, and with limited access to non-spenders. Maybe that's just what it is. Also, he is inside the Elite store, and this was announced in yesterday's correction post. Now, and my only concern with this, and this is only going to affect a limited number of players, but for the 500 players that participate and win the Unkillable Force auction leaderboard. No auction! It's an auction! This is literally just an auction. They're just literally auctioning off 7 to 5 red stars on Zombie Juggernaut. So if you're a person participating in this auction I would suggest not buying the elites right now, because if you do purchase these with dark promotion credits and then you win the auction and you place in the top 500, they get credited back to you in elite fours. You don't get these dark promotion credits back. So just keep that in mind. Maybe the person that is doing that. Also, on a side note, the cap to dark promotion credits used to be 6,000. Now it is 12,000. So that was raised. All right, let's keep going on. The orbs for the event, Baka did some analysis, and that the orbs are actually pretty good. And if you watch Boylan video, he actually says that too. These are the averages. You know, Zombie Iron Man average 9, 6.8, and then 855 of the event token. And then also there's been some discussion on what should be Zombie Iron Man's ISO. And I think yesterday I had this on the screen here. So initial thoughts: Striker, Fortifier, Skirmisher, ISO on Zombie Juggs. And I want to give a little bit more clarification. So this right here, and this is from Baka, and I believe this came directly from the JSON file on what the ISO attack is for Zombie Juggernaut. So if in war, drain the target's has bleed, drain 10%, can't be blocked, unavoidable, and apply to bleed. So that is actually a pretty good striker attack. So there's also this idea that if you have the resources to take him to blue ISO 5, like I do have the resources to take him to blue ISO 5, then maybe Fortifier's worthwhile. So for me, I'm not going to have a monstrous Juggernaut, and I happen to have an abundance currently of blue ISO 5. So I ended up opting for the blue ISO 5 Fortifier, which gives the drain mechanic. And he is a pre-taunting tank, and so surviving that initial blast seems to be meaningful on Fortifier. Now, if you have a monstrous, zombie Juggernaut, and you just don't care because you've got all the stats, well, then maybe you don't need the Fortifier. Also, Skirmisher will seem important if you're having difficulty landing some of the trauma, specifically is the important one there. So I'm not 100% certain, but for me, I did blue ISO 5 Fortifier. If you don't want to do blue ISO 5, because that's a commitment, and I definitely think that you should only be spending the blue ISO 5 on the 23 characters for Apocalypse. If you don't have a big boy Apocalypse, like please don't do this on Zombie Juggernaut. If you don't have a big boy Apocalypse and you don't have an abundance of blue ISO 5, but there's a case to be made for Skirmisher and for Striker, and that'll require more testing. Also, the event orb for Dark Hawk, which was the orb that you got by blitzing, has disappeared. And Archangel has said that the orb, which is called the Celestial Talon Orb, will be back on the next shop reset. So right now, when this video is being recorded, the orb is not there, but it should return at the next 8-hour reset, which is probably about 6 hours from now at the time of recording this video. Also, there is a patch currently happening right now. And so there's some questions on how this is going to work, but it's currently underway. So a lot of people are asking why I have the super cool loading screens and people on their iPhones don't have the new loading screens for the patch. It's because the patch is being done over the air, and it did start today. About half the people on Android had the opportunity to roll out the patch, and then the Amazon store, which I'm playing on here on my LD player here on Twitch and YouTube on my PC, is on the Amazon store, and so I got that right away. And then tomorrow, the rest of the Android players and iOS players, and then on Wednesday, it'll be forced. Now, this is an over-the-air patch, and I noticed that, like, Doc Ock doesn't have the Superior 6 tag, and I'm thinking that there will be a moment on Wednesday once everybody has the patch where it'll flip, like a switch will flip. So I'm wondering if Wednesday is going to be the actual patch day where a lot of the things that were in the patch notes we're going to go over right now will actually be turned in on Wednesday. Now, they also have a caveat right here. Please keep in mind this is a new delivery method, and technical issues may cause delays or unexpected downtime. So far, that hasn't been the case. There has been some reports of crashes, but so far, like myself personally, have not had any issues. Now, there are patch notes. I think a lot of this was known. Absolutely 100%, I did not know that this was coming this patch, Incursion Raid 2. I've not playtested this. I've not had any pre-release information. This is completely out of nowhere as far as I'm concerned. Boy, we just got Ironheart. I was expecting this sooner than later, but not this patch. I actually thought this was going to come in a later patch. So this Incursion Rage 2 apparently is in the patch notes, and it will be this patch. I'm not the only one to complain too much about Marvel Strike Force, but good God, more power core spending. I think this is like third week in a row that we've had some power core spending events. Yeah, it seems a little overwhelming. Also, just a friendly, gentle nudge, gentle reminder to spend your incursion energy. I saw this post and I was like, or someone reminded me here on Twitch, and yeah, I was pegged at 120. And Archangel did respond to, why can't we have some sort of notification? Because this is the energy that, you can get gold promos, dark promos. You can get actually 7 reds sometimes on some of the characters. It's kind of an important thing, right? Fortunately, there isn't room on devices to have it on the campaign energy. He's talking about on the top of the screen. Spoke with the team at length about the subject. 7 hours should be looked in. I continue to follow up with this on this team. And I kind of loosely understand that depending on the shape of the device, there may not be room here because some devices are more rectangular and other devices like iPads are square, right? And so there's some flexibility. Also, the length of names can stretch out pretty far on this, depending on how many characters. So just because your device has space here, that's not true on every device. And I'm hoping that they just, on events and things like that, they'll put a red dot here when let's say your campaign energy for some of these events right here, like this Pegasus event, it'll just show up. And I would hope that they would just put like a red dot right here, or maybe they could just put like a red lightning bolt icon right there when you're at like 75% full or something, where you're approaching 100%. I think that would be helpful for sure. I love the idea of interchangeable teams. I hope it gets utilized more after this Sinister 6 rework. And after playing Sinister 6 today with Dorky Dad, the Sinister 6 rework for War is good. And, we were messing around with, Green Goblin and Doc Ock and Mysterio and Electro and Vulture. And I know a lot of people are considering taking Vulture into Dark Dimension 6. I know I'm personally going to be taking Doc Ock into Dark Dimension 6, and hopefully, if we get him in time, Green Goblin. So they look to be very good in War, and this idea is highly appealing to me. And this feedback I know was shared from me directly to the developers, and I think it'd be fantastic if this idea that they're developing currently with Sinister 6, could also be expanded to other types of things like X-Men or maybe Avengers. I just think it's a fantastic step in the right direction. Shortage of training mats and leveling characters in general. This is just a personal gripe right now. I'm having challenges right now. But training materials, I don't know about you. In my conversation this morning with Dorky Dad, he said that he was having a shortage of training materials as well. I think we got an abundance of gold in, without taking into account that there's a second bottleneck. There's bottlenecks on bottlenecks, and that's training materials. And of course, the solution is just spend all of your gold on gear, and then you don't have to worry about training materials. Or just wallet harder. Just wallet harder and spend money on training materials. And then lastly, time to ditch requirements for Red Star Blitz. What is that, 4 stars? And it just doesn't seem to be needed anymore. There's a couple offers. I'm going to switch sides of the screen here. Couple offers right here for $5. I just personally am not in the market for Elite 5s or Elite 4s. I'm primarily only looking for Elite 7s at this point. And in my next Red Star orb opening video, I'll kind of give some more context to why I'm doing it the way I'm doing. I tried to explain it before. I don't know if I explained it well enough, but here you go. Also, Zombie Iron Man, 45 character shards for $5. I do think if you have a chunky Hela, this guy makes a nice addition for a relatively low amount of resources, even if you're not planning on getting Zombie Juggernaut. But if you have a chunky Hela, this guy pairs nicely and is quite a team. And not only are they good in War, I've gotten very good use with them inside of Cosmic Crucible as well. This is better than the normal offer. The normal offer that they have, like the The anchor offer to make you feel like this is a good offer right here is they try selling a single Elite 6 for $10. Now this offer right here, you can get 2 Elite 6s for $10 and then 15 of the new Iron Man. And then, I in general like these $5 for 50 character shards if it helps you speed up time. 50 character shards for $5 for Titania if that saves farming time for you. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I don't know. I haven't seen this much outrage on Reddit for a while. This is just a handful of the posts, but I saw more. But a large chunk of Reddit right now is, the hot topic is the zombie Juggernaut event. Let me know what you think in the comment section. As always, thanks for watching. Bye for now.